And a taste of history, we have concentrated on our first president, George Washington. But did you know that Barbados was the only country he ever visited outside the colonies? Join me while we make some fantastic Bajan dishes, such as a great Bajan seasoning, Bajan fish cake, flying fish and cou-cou, and conchis. And find out why George Washington came here at 19 years old in 1751. All for a taste of history. Desmond.
Good morning, Mr. Chef Walter.
So good to see you.
Pleasure's all mine.
What a beautiful island here, Barbados.
Well, you've been here many times before. You know the place.
Gorgeous, it's gorgeous.
You know the place.
And I got the pleasure to work with a real Bajan chef.
And it's going to be a pleasure to be working together.
First thing we're going to do is make the Bajan seasoning that's going to be used throughout the recipe today.
It's called Bajan, but I have a little flair also that I want to give it as well too.
Okay.
We peel the onion first.
What I find interesting is that this seasoning, if it's properly done, can actually store in your refrigerator for quite some time.
Yeah. You cut it as small as you can. You know, like what we would call a broom wall. And you know, onion is for flavor. As fine as we can get it. Then we're going to put this in this bowl. Yeah, Walter, go ahead and pick the parsley.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah, so we hold it together and we chop it up small. Because what we're gonna do, we're gonna put everything back on the cutting board and then we chop everything together. Can we get some garlic as well? You know what I'm saying?
Flatten it down, get the oils released out of it.
And also get so she can chop it up finer.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And she chops.
All right.
Thank you.
So the garlic in there.
Okay, give me some scallion. And then you cut these as small as you can as well too.
So basically, right now we have onion, we have parsley, we have garlic, we got scallion. I see you got some ginger there. Come in there as well.
And ginger, we give it a little flavor as well.
You want me to peel the ginger for you?
Go ahead and peel the ginger. The ginger is for flavor.
It's it's very nice.
Smell it?
Yep.
So we're going to put a little piece of that, not too much because you don't want to overpower the seasoning. You make sure that ginger is nice and chopped. When we finish, we're going to put everything back on the cutting board and we're going to chop them all up. We call this one a broadleaf thyme.
Beautiful flavor.
Beautiful flavor.
Different, it's different than the regular
different than this
thyme.
one. It's even stronger. So you cannot put too much of this one. One leaf is enough. Want everything to be nice and chopped. So then we put them together.
So it all blends in harmony and all the same size.
Correct.
I got you.
Correct.
This is a very unique flavor.
Very unique.
Strong though.
Very unique. Very unique.
It's a beautiful combination of the different herbs that come through already. I got it.
So what we're going to do now, we're going to chop this some more.
You want to chop it so you merge the flavors together. That's the idea. I got you.
And she really chops this up. And then we're going to add some black pepper to it. Yeah, just like that. Correct.
There you go. Allspice?
Allspice. All right.
All right.
We're going to squeeze a lime on it as well, all the way around. And put a few pinches of salt in it as well. Yeah.
There you go.
You have pepper sauce. Sometimes you can add a little pepper sauce. Smooth it out, and then you finish chops it up again. And you know how you know when it's finished? I'll show you. And Grandma made, she used to pat it like this. You know?
When it sticks together?
Yes. Then she know that it's ready. I know you like it.
Wow,
you can sit and eat this all day.
But you know what? I cannot wait for the dishes we're going to make with that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm ready for those Bajan fish cakes you promised me.
There you go. Of course.
So Desmond, we've made the seasoning, and now let's move on to the fish cake.
Yeah. So we got our salted cod. We blanched it off already because it can be very salty. You put it in overnight to soak, and then in the morning time you put it in fresh water and you put it to boil, and then you let it rest.
You want to make sure you get the salt out, and then you also want to pick the bones.
And pick the bones out. So you grind it up with your hand, you know. Yeah. You don't want it to be lumpy. The only thing that's left to be added to this lovely Bajan seasoning that we have is some green peppers. So the green pepper, we're going to cut a piece of this green pepper out.
So you don't saute it, you just put it in the...
Yeah.
Okay, I got it.
Because we're going to fry it anyway.
Yeah.
We're going to cut it up nice and small. along with a little bit of the seasoning. Okay, so we put a little bit of seasoning, and then we
mix it up together.
Mix it up, We try to mix the seasoning first, all right, and then we're gonna make some flour. We try to do everything dry first.
A little more?
Put some more, yeah. Put a little bit more.
There you go.
Okay. Some baking powder as well too.
So it's kind of like a saltfish fritter they make in many other places in the island.
Yes.
But I guess the reason we can call it here the Bajan fritter because we have this great Bajan seasoning.
Oh yes, and we're gonna add some milk as well to Walter. We're not making a bread pudding.
Making a nice fish cake.
Yes, so you don't want too much flour.
Fritter.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? To hold
Yeah,
it.
because you deep fry it so that it holds up together good.
Correct.
Oil is hot. You want the oil not too hot so it cooks on the inside. Get nice and golden brown.
Go ahead and take those ones out.
Yep. You serve it with any remoulade sauce, anything on the side sometimes, or just eat them like that?
We can eat them like this with pepper sauce and ketchup. It's nice and crunchy, yeah?
Very flavorful. Now, it's my first time I've eaten a Bajan fish cake. Fantastic. So simple, but so delicious. And so much 18th century, by the way. It's been around forever.
It's been around before me, and I know I will go and it will still be around.
On A Taste of History, I encounter many sentimental moments. This today has to be at the top of the list, since Barbados is the only country George Washington ever visited outside the colonies.
At 19 years old, George Washington was just a young Virginian farmer and land surveyor, until a journey with his half-brother Lawrence Washington offered him a wealth of new opportunity.
Lawrence fell ill. He developed tuberculosis, and the doctors in Virginia said, "Look, Mr. Washington, there's only one hope of your survival. Go to the West Indies, go to the island of Barbados, which has very skilled doctors in treating diseases of the lung." In the 18th century, Barbados was a very wealthy colony. It was a very densely populated island. Bridgetown was one of the largest English colonized towns in the Americas.
On November 7th, 1751, George Washington and his half-brother Lawrence landed in Barbados and rented this home for 2 months.
Welcomed by a prominent Barbados merchant and relative of Lawrence's wife, the two soon found themselves among some of the city's most distinguished elite.
He visited forts, he met with generals, admirals, high-ranking officers. He was very interested in military aspects of the island. Even at the age of 19 and a half, George Washington was showing signs of becoming the very astute person that he later became in life.
His exposure to military life in Barbados undoubtedly ignited young Washington's interests in the field. But it was his exposure to smallpox on the island that changed the course of American history.
Smallpox is a very virulent disease which is very contagious. In that initial, very brief period of contact, George was unfortunate and developed smallpox. So he spent a couple of weeks in his chamber here in this house being attended to.
Imagine the outcome of the Revolutionary War if George Washington would have not contracted smallpox here in Barbados.
He could easily have died, but he didn't. And that is one of the really fascinating what-ifs of history. What would the United States of America have been like today had he died here? Things would have changed radically. Had he not acquired smallpox immunity, when smallpox broke out among the troops of the army, he quite possibly could have contracted it and died along with the many other hundreds of his soldiers. But the reality is, he survived and he became the first president of the United States of America.
So So Desmond, you know, I've traveled many of the Caribbean countries, and I'm always looking forward to find their national dish. And today, being here with you in Barbados, you making me the national dish of Barbados. So tell me a little bit about it.
Well, it's a dish that I grew up and see my grandmother making. We make it with cornmeal. It's a very refined cornmeal. It's not like the coarse one that we use for polenta.
Gotcha.
If you rub your hand in, you can feel it.
Yeah, it's almost like flour.
Correct. So firstly, what we're going to do, we're going to put some onions in this water here. And also what we're going to do, we're going to put some thyme in there as well too. We're going to season it with some salt.
Gotcha.
All right, and we're going to let it boil.
And comes the okra. What do you do? You just cut it?
First you cut off the head, and you cut the okra in 4. Not too small, not too big. Just put a few spoons of salt inside it.
All right.
So then you put the okras inside. For this one, what we do, you sprinkle a little salt. Okay. And then you add some water to it. So then you use a cuckoo stick. And this one you stir it.
So basically, this just the cornmeal that you showed me and water at this stage, right?
Yeah.
Nothing else.
Then, what we're going to do now, we're going to strain this. You strain it, we're going to keep the okras on the side. That's our okra water. I like to use extra water. Okay, so we're going to cut some more onions as well. So we're going to flare up this pot again. Because, you know, we're getting ready for a cornmeal. I like to have onions and a little garlic in my cornmeal. So just mix this up a little bit. And then we're going to put this right in the pot. I like to put a little sugar as well. And let that cook a little bit before we put our cornmeal inside.
Got you.
Okay, our stock is ready. Put some onions and some garlic in it and flavor up. This is going for the cornmeal. So we're going to put this inside the water here now. You go ahead and you put it inside. As it starts to come together, you can see how fast it's coming together already. So you put a little bit of stock inside. Okay. And then you can put a little bit of your butter inside of it as well. Wait, already one thing. Okay, when the cuckoo is ready, you can stick your spoon in it. And once the spoon stands up,
you're done.
It's ready. So grandma, now when they're serving it now, the whole is to put the gravy down inside.
Yeah, got you. I got you.
There you go.
Wow. What a pleasant view add. It's so smooth. And there's so much flavor.
Melts in your mouth.
And I can just see later the fish and the sauce in the middle of that. So Desmond, now comes the flying fish.
Oh
I've been waiting for.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna just.
So what we're gonna do here now? Squeeze some lime on it.
Fantastic.
Welcome, I like it.
So it's our seasoning from this morning.
Yeah, and you wrap it, you know. Bajan's like a lot of seasoning, so you gotta be careful with this bone. It won't cut you.
That's it, yeah.
You know, this bone's very sharp. So you put some seasoning inside there, all over the head. The older folks, this is how they like their fish. If it doesn't have a head,
no good.
They don't want it.
Yeah.
Break the back. Then you can stick it through the mouth. And just put it through here. That's it.
So let me try one here.
Yeah, go ahead. And then pull it.
Gotcha.
Right. That's it.
Beautiful. My first flying fish.
So we're gonna just rest it here with the lime. So we're gonna just rest these in here. We're gonna cut the vegetables up for the Creole sauce and get that rolling.
Okay.
Get some onion, piece of pepper, some tomatoes as well. We're gonna use some butter. We don't let our Bajan seasoning go to waste. So just put a little bit inside of here.
I figured you were going to do that.
Yeah, oh yeah, you know, that's all the flavor there.
That's flavor.
Put a little bit of mustard, a little
That is love.
a teaspoon of mustard. That's good. That's perfect. And then put some ketchup now.
How much?
Yeah. Alright. Very good, man. And it's a hot sauce, baby. Just a little bit. That's good. I need some water. So pour the water inside there. Ah. Beautiful. Oh yeah. You can put some of the fish inside of this. Okay. And let that go ahead and cook. And then we're going to cook two in the fry for you as well.
Got you. That's what I need the flour for?
Yeah.
Beautiful presentation on top of it, huh?
Beautiful.
This one is the first time ever that I assisted at a flying fish preparation.
Really?
Yeah, man. Where would else? We don't.
Thank you.
I've never even seen it before. And you are such an expert.
There you go.
Desmond,
Beautiful.
you are the man. Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful.
Nice flavor. Not an easy dish, though.
This is the pride of Barbados. This is our national dish.
Well, I'm so glad I had the chance to come all the way to Barbados to work with a true Bajan chef, a master.
But it was a pleasure.
A master.
This has been a pleasure.
In the 18th century, Barbados was one of Britain's most precious colonial possessions, primarily due to the cultivation of sugarcane.
This was what made Barbados. This is what was the foundation of the Barbados we see today. By the peak period in the 18th century, you had over 500 sugar mills working in Barbados. Sugar was one of the highest valued commodities in the world at the time. The wonderful thing was you had this free power coming across from the Atlantic, the trade winds constant throughout the year, sometimes shifting from one angle to the next, but providing the power for those mills to operate. There is a large beam at the back, and the workers would shift the beam around to angle it into the trade winds. And when they wanted to stop it, they had to turn it out and tie it like you tie a ship to a dock.
So windmill is basically a ship on land.
It was a ship on land, that's right. So you had these three rollers into which you would feed the cane, and you had to do that as quickly as possible. You could not leave cane for too long, or else it would begin to ferment and it would be spoiled.
So remarkable. I could talk to you for hours and so much to learn about this whole unbelievable windmill enterprise.
Well, it's been a pleasure showing you around.
Thanks.
The Morgan Lewis Windmill is one of the Caribbean's only remaining mills still in operation today.
After the spectacular flying fish and cou-cou I had, now I need a true Bajan dessert. And to help me is Chiarello, pastry chef extraordinaire in Barbados. And what's the dessert we're making?
Conky.
It sounds very intriguing. Do people still actually make it at home?
Yes, they do. Mostly during independence.
But not as good as yours.
No.
I figured that already. All right, show me what you're doing.
Okay, we're going to put the grated pumpkin into the bowl, as well as the grated sweet potato. Next, we're going to take the coconut, brown sugar. You don't want to use all at the same time. You don't want it too sweet.
Got you. And then the extra fine cornmeal.
Yes. Then we're going to get our nutmeg, salt, a little bit of cinnamon. Yes. Raisins.
Oh, that sounds delicious. Almond essence.
Yes.
And vanilla essence.
And then we're going to melt our butter.
It looks a lot of flavor, but a lot of calories.
Yes.
So now you just mix it all up together?
Yes, we do. So I'm going to get my hands right down in there, get it all mixed up, all the flavors melting together.
Ooh, the flavors come all together already.
Yeah.
Get a whiff of that. The aroma comes right out of that bowl. Amazing.
So we're going to give it a little taste.
It tastes a little bit too. Let me see
Yeah.
here. Oh, you can eat it like that.
We can. So here we have the banana leaf. So what this does, it gives the conky flavor, and it also acts as the holding for the conky. We're going to cut it in half. This makes the leaf very flexible so that we can fold the leaf without tearing.
Because otherwise we have a really hard time. Banana leaf breaks. You know, Janelle, I do many recipes from the 18th century, and banana leaves was used in many different cultures all the time. So banana leaf very close to my heart.
I'm just going to give it one last stir before.
So it's nice mixed together.
Yes.
Got your flavors.
Then I'm just going to take a portion, put inside the leaf. Nice and taut. And you can do these as big or small as you
big.
like. Yeah.
So,
These will normally take about 30 minutes to half an hour, depending on the size and the amount you're cooking it in the pot at the same time.
so the small ones go faster, obviously.
Yeah, they do. And all the ends of leaves that you had, you just
Put them in
place
there.
them all around to protect the water from touching the conky.
Once you get the flavor.
Yes, and the flavor also.
And 4. And the lid goes on.
And the leaves
More
going
leaves
on
on
the
top?
top. Yes, flavor, flavor, and more flavor.
And now 15-20 minutes.
And then it's all over. 4 conkies.
All right.
Yep.
I gotta try it.
Yes.
Since you like it hot and other people like it cold, I'll follow your lead.
Yes.
And it looks fantastic already.
Yes, it does.
Oh man. Get the flavors of all the ingredients plus the banana leaf steamed into it.
Yes, it does.
It's a fantastic dessert. Everybody takes grapefruit for granted. But here in Barbados, it's where it all began.
It was said that the grapefruit is actually an accidental cross between a sweet orange and a pomelo. In 1906, the pink grapefruit was discovered right here in Welsh Mahal Gully.
Right here?
Right here. It was a garden for a plantation owner. This one is a very young grapefruit, and they're all on the tree in stages. One that is soon to be ripe, turning yellow now.
So I assume they would name it grapefruit because it goes like a grape in clusters. So it's not like a single fruit like so many other fruits. Makes sense.
The nutritional value is very high. The raw juice helps trim belly fat, and also desserts.
Trying to tell me something? I'm making a very light but delicious dessert using grapefruit. But I want to thank you for the insight you gave me and for the rest of the world to know that grapefruit originated right here in Barbados. Why don't we cut open the grapefruit and the shallot so we can see the difference?
So here we have the shallot.
You call it shallot and we call it pomelo.
Yes. It was said from the history books that the shallot was crossbred with the orange. That's where the grapefruit came from.
Excellent, there we go.
And here
Look at that,
we
you can see
have-
they're cousins. Janelle, you are so kind to show me a fast, delicious dessert. So go ahead and tell me what we're doing.
Okay, I'm going to melt the gelatin. And I'm going to do this with a little bit of the freshly squeezed grapefruit juice.
Sounds like a very delicious dessert.
Very refreshing as well.
Refreshing,
Yeah.
The local beer.
This is a very easy dessert. Just throw
I like
everything
it
in.
though.
Yeah.
And then you have a little simple syrup,
Yes, we have.
which is just
Add a little sweetness
a
to
little
it.
water. Grapefruit juice.
We're just going to give it a nice little stir.
So it really comes together quick. So now you
Yes.
pour it right in here. All right, this goes in the refrigerator.
Yes, it does.
And this one over here, you're going to decorate up for us?
Yes. Here have some fresh grapefruit.
Perfect. Let me try it cold. It's refreshing.
Yes, it is.
It's really beautiful. From the great nation of Barbados, all for a taste of history.